Good morning, friends. We are learning our subject Python for Data Science 3150713. In that, we are learning Pandas, which is part of our module 2, Data Science and Python, and module 3, that is getting your hands dirty with the data. So in previous lecture, we have seen to merge the data frame. Actually not merge, but we can say we have seen how to concatenate the data frame, right? So now let us proceed further. This was the 3 data frames, right? Which we have concatenate, right? That was using pd.concat and frames. Fine. Now you can concatenate a mix of series and data frame objects. The series will be transformed to data frame with the column name as the name of the series. Let us see this. For df1, we must be having that in existence. For that, we have to first run the data frames, right? And for that, we should have our, what we can say is, pandas and numpy, those libraries also we have to import here, isn't it? Import numpy as np, import pandas as pd, right? So let me run this. So it will be there in the effect, or you can say it will be there in the memory of this editor, right? Now we want to have the data frames. So we can say our df1, df2, df3, which we have created yesterday, where we are having A, B, C, D, 4 columns, right, in each and every data frame. After that, what do we want is, this was where we have concat the data frames. Now we want to have something more than that. What is that? Here we can say we are having say print df1. So whatever is our df1, that will be printed here. Original data frame we want to see, and then after we want to do something. What new thing we want to do? That is, we can say S1 is equal to pd.series. We are creating the series where we are having x0, x1, x2, x3 and name is equal to x, right? This is what we are giving for series. Now what we do is pd.concat df1 and s1. This is our data frame and this is our series, right? And x is equal to 1. Now what will be that? This is our original data frame, right? So we can say A, B, C, D columns are there and index is 0, 1, 2, 3. What about the concatenation? We can say we are having this A, B, C, D columns and according to that the data that was there. Now we can see the column X is being added and the values are x0, x1, x2, x3, right? So we have concat the series with data frame, right? We know that series is simple list, right? So that we can add, and what else? That is, we can say we have given the name as x. So here it is x, and we can say that we have given x is equal to 1. So we are able to have this column added, right? Now let us see the merging and joining. What are they? Difference between merge and join. The join method works best when we are joining data frames on their indexes. Though you can specify another column to join on for the left data frame. The merged method, or you can say merge method, is more versatile and allows us to specify columns besides the index to join on for both data frames. Series.append, that is used to concatenate series. Data frame.append, that will concatenate data frames. Data frame.join will join data frames using indexes. Data frame.merge, that will do what? Merge data frames by indexes or columns. See, you can see the difference. Here, join will do what? Join data frames using indexes. What about merge? It is merging the data frames by indexes or by columns. Pandas provides a single function, merge, as the entry point for all standard database join operations between data frame objects. So what is the syntax? That is pd.merge, left, right, how, that is inner or outer, on, left on, right on, left index, right index, sort is equal to true, right? So this is the syntax of merge. Now, left and right, that is the data frame object. On columns, that is we can say that names to join on. Left on, right on, that is what is columns from the left, right data frame to use as keys. Left index, if true, use the index row labels from the left data frame as it's join the keys. Right index, that means same usage as left index. That is, we can say that if true, use the index from the right data frame as its join keys. Sort, that is, sort the result data frame by the join keys in lexicographical order, right? Let us see the example. We can understand that. Let's say that we are having two data frame, merge F1, then merge F2, or you can say merge DF1 and merge DF2, right? The way you want to speak. That is equal to pd.dataframe. We are having three columns, ID, name, and subject, right? ID, name, and subject. For second data frame, we are having ID, name, and subject. In both the data frames, we are having ID, name, and subject. Fine? Okay. Now, we are printing the first data frame as well as second data frame, right? But first of all, we should run this. Otherwise, it will not be there in the effect, right? This is our DF1. This is our DF2, right? The names are different. The names are different and subject also is different, right? Yeah, numbers are same. IDs we have given same. We can give that also different. Let it be just now. Now we want to use the merge. So first of all, what we are doing is pd.merge, merge df1, merge df2 on ID. What it gives us? With the ID, it is merging name underscore x, subject underscore x, name underscore y, subject underscore y. Now what is this? It has merged two data frames. But what we are having now is instead of this name and subject, that is for both the data frames, what we are doing is we are having the result as name underscore x, that is for df1. Subject underscore x is for df1. Name underscore y is for df2. And subject underscore y is for df2. Right? So that way it is merging, and this ID, right? Based on this ID, it is merging. Now, you may be having the question, what if we are having the different ID, right? Let's see that also, because you will be having the question. I know that. Let me say that I am changing this merge df2 and giving ID as 6, 7, 8, 9, and let it be one common, right? That is 5. Now I am running this merge df2 because we want that to be there in effect, right? Let me have this also merge df2. So we can say 5, 6, 8, 9, 5, right? It is ID. It should be unique one, but okay, let me do one thing. 5 is already there, okay? Let it be there. This one, fine? ID is unique, no? Roll number, enrollment number, right? So let it be, fine? Okay. So we are having 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 as the ID. Now I'm doing pd.merge and on ID. Let's see what it gives us as the output. Let me keep this as it is. So we'll be able to compare, right? Let us put it here. Okay. Now I'm running it. Now, what is the output we are having? That is 0, 5, and whatever are the value of name underscore x, subject underscore x, name underscore y, and subject underscore y. What we have done was we have merged with the help of ID. On the ID we are merging. So now only the fifth ID is common between the merge 1 and merge 2 df. For that, we can say it is merging for this common ID, right? And whatever are the values of our df1 and df2 for name and subject, that it shows. Fine? Got the point? Okay. So now let me keep our original df. We can see the difference, isn't it? This was our original df. We can put this letter also, no issue. But just now, what is there now in merge df? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have changed it. That is, I have put it as it was, right? Now let's see what we want to do. Merge we have already done, right? That was on ID. Simple was that. Now, pd.merge, merge df1, merge df2, on is equal to ID, and how, that is left. We used to say that left will be having the effect, isn't it? Let me say it is this. Just now we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it will consider that only. And we do not have any effect. If it is, what we can say is, of this left or right, because we are having all the IDs common, right? Now let me change that to this merge df2, which we have changed before. Let me say it is this merge df2. Okay. Now what happens? Let me copy this here and put it again here so you can see the difference, right? This was there, right and left. Now let me put it here, merge df2. Okay, this is there in effect. Now I want to have the merge df. I want to see that merge df2. Let's see what it is, right? After that, we can say what we want is we want to have this pd.merge left, and then after we'll be doing the right. Okay, right merging and left merging. First of all, let us see the left merging. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for that, whatever is there in our df1, that it prints. For df2, we can say for IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, we do not have any value. We have just changed our merge df2, isn't it? We have changed the IDs and now we are having the IDs. They are 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, right? So with that, we can say that left, what we want is we want to merge, but how? That was left. That means the effect of left side data frame is that. So whatever are the ID, that is the column on which we are doing the merge process, the ID of the left data frame is there in effect, and that is why we are able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we know that for df1 we are having the values available. But what about our df2? There we are having value for only ID 5. We do not have any value for ID 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it places NaN for that, right? It places NaN for that. Got the point? Now if I do the right side merging, then what will happen? Let us put that here. I'm changing it as right. Okay. Now let me run this. Now we can see the ID as 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and for that we have value only for ID 5 in data frame 1. For others it is having NaN. And as we have taken how is equal to right, it is taking the IDs, they are from the right side DF, right? So this is the merge operation. Now we want to know about the join operation. Data frame dot join other on is equal to none. How? That is equal to left. L suffix is equal to right suffix is equal to sort is equal to false, right? These are the parameters. Join columns of another data frame. Now here we are not giving it as the like merge and df1 df2, but we are using it as the df1 dot join, right? So other we have to specify because df1 is already provided here. If I do df1 dot join, then here we need to provide it as df2. Okay, so what it does, it join columns with other data frame either on index or on a key column. Efficiently join multiple data frame objects by index at once by passing a list, right? So what we can see, how means left, right, outer, inner, and before this left. How to handle the operation of two objects, right? That is being specified by left, right, outer, inner. Left is use calling data frames index. Right, that means use others index. Outer means form union of calling frames index with others index and sort it lexicographically. Inner means form intersection of calling frames index with others index, preserving the order of calling one, right? Now see, outer that consider the union and inner that consider the intersection. Keep that thing in your mind. So what it returns? It returns the data frame containing columns from both the caller and other, right? Let's see the example. We can have the idea. Say JDF1 that is equal to PD dot data frame A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For other data frame, we are having PD dot data frame and B column 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Now here what we are doing is for both the data frames, we are having different columns. In first, we are having A column. For for other data frame, we are having B column, right? Now we are trying to join it. First of all, we are printing first DF, then we are printing the second DF, and then after we are doing the join, right? So this is for first one, that is A column is there. This for the second data frame where we are having the B column. When we do join, we are having say A and B columns and all values are being set with the index that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a by default index available in it. We haven't set the index, isn't it? Now let's see the append. Data frame dot append other. Ignore underscore index is equal to false. Verify underscore integrity is equal to false. Sort is equal to false. These are the parameters. Now what it does? Append rows of other to the end of column, returning a new object. Columns in other that are not in the caller are added as new columns. So let's say pd.dataframe.append df1 and df2. What it does, A and B, both the columns are there. Now for the column where the value was not there in our data frame 1, it put NaN, and same for df2 where it was not having A column, it is putting NaN, and we can say that other values they were already available for B column, that is available here, right? So A and B are given here. You can see the difference. Here, when we have joined at that time, we were having different columns, right? But what it has done is, it has put A and B, both the columns together, right? With the index, okay? Nothing like we can say NaN is there, isn't it? For appending, we can say that it appends the column, but value remains same. That is, for A, whatever is there. For B, if we do not have the value, it puts NaN, right? Same way for this one. For A, we do not have value, so it puts NaN, and other is for B, right? Now, next thing what we want to know is sorting and shuffling. So, let's see that. This we have seen before, at least sort underscore values, right? Recall that we are creating the data frame where we are having A, B, C columns and the values are being given here. Now, we are doing the sorting, that is using sort underscore values, and we can say by columns, that is A and B, right? Let me run this. What it does? For column A, we are having 1, 2, 2, 4, 4. In other, we are having 6, 7, 8, 10, 2. Right? Now, what is the case? For this 2 and 2, we can say column B is having the value 7 and 8 only. So, it is in sorted order only. So, doesn't matter. Here, as this is 2, 2, that is the same value is there. It checks for the B column, right? It checks for the B column. So, we can say if I change this to 8 and 7, then it will reverse that. Let me show you that, right? Oh, I have put it 7, right? Okay. So let us say that it is 8 and then 7. We can see that 7 and 8, that is being sorted, right? 2, 2 is same. So we do not have to do anything for that, but it will go to second column and we'll be able to see it as 7 and 8. Fine. What about the next one? That is 4 and 4. 4 and 4. For that, we can say we are having the value of B column, that is 10 and 2. So it is getting sorted. 2 comes first and then after 10. So according to that, whatever is the value of our C column, that is also being shuffled, right? That is being shuffled, or actually you can say it is not shuffled, but going up and down according to the sorting, right? According to the sorting, right? Okay. Now, what we do? Shuffle we want to know. So for that, what we do is index is equal to r dot index dot to list. What is r? That is what we have got as the sorted values, right? This one, I can say it is this one, this data frame. We are getting the index of it, right? And we are printing it as the index. Sorry, we are printing it as the list. So we can have the idea that what are the index values available. Now, np.random.shuffle index. We are printing the index because we want to see, and the thing is, we want to shuffle this data frame. So we can say that we are shuffling the index. Now after that, what we are doing is R is equal to, that is for our data frame, what we are doing is R is equal to R dot lock. Lock is location, we typically used to say, of R dot index of index, right? So what we are doing is R dot index is the index which we are accessing, and here what we have given this index is, this is the list, fine? And then after we are printing this R. What we do is R is equal to R dot reset underscore index, drop is equal to true, and print R, right? Let's see that we are resetting the index. Okay, let's see the output. We can understand that. First of all, we can say that what is the index available? That is 0, 2, 1, 4, 3. Now, what we are doing is we are doing the shuffling. Then after we are setting our R, right? And then after what we can do is we are printing R. Then after we are resetting the index. Let's see that what it is giving us. This was the first print, right? Now second print is after doing the shuffling. So what is that? It is 0, 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 4, 3. This was there in the index. After doing the shuffling, we are having the index, that is we can say we have written CLOC, right? We can see that. So here we can say it is 1, 3, 2, 0, 4. It was 0, 2, 1, 4, 3. Now we have shuffled and getting it as the index, that is 13204, right? After that, what we are doing is we are doing the reset index, and then what we are getting is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got the point? This is the shuffle, right? This is the shuffle. We know that shuffle means as we are shuffling the cards, isn't it? It will change the sequence of the cards. Dealing with dates in data, formatting date and time values. So what we do for that? The date class in the date time module of Python deals with dates in the Gregorian calendar. It accepts three integer arguments: year, month, and day. So let us have the look for that. From date type, import date. To create the object of our date, we know that we need to provide the YYYY, DD, no, YYYY, MM, and DD, isn't it? So that is what we are providing as the parameter, and we are having the parameters, they are the integer parameters, right? Okay, so we are creating the object of date, that is we can say 2010 and 20. Now we want to get the day, month, and year. For that we can say dt dot day, dt dot month, dt dot year. Now for day we can say it is 20, for month it is 10, and for year it is 2000, right? So now the datetime module lets you interchange the format of datetime between few options. First up is the ISO format. If you want to create a datetime object from string form of the date in ISO format, then we can use the from ISO format method. If you intended to do the reverse, use the ISO format method. Let's see the example. We can have the idea. If we are creating dtn is equal to dt.iso format, and we printed the date we have already initialized, that was say 20th October 2000, right? Now if we print this, we are getting it as 2010 and 20, right? 2010 and 20. That is there in the ISO format. If we want to convert the date time into string format, you can use ctime method. So how we do that? It returns date in string format. Let's say that dc time, that is equal to dt.ctime. dt object we have already initialized, right? Now we want to have that in what? String format, right? We can see this is the string format, and if we want, we can check for this also, that is type of dc time, right? So we can see it is str, right? It is str. Let us create the date range. How we can do that? That is using pd.date underscore range. Let's see. Dates is equal to pd.date underscore range 2013-0101. 1st January 2013, right? And periods is equal to 6. Now, what we do? If we do that, what it creates for us is date time index, and there we are having say 1st January 2013, 2nd January 2013, 3rd January 2013, 4th January 2013, 5th January 2013, and 6th January 2013. What was given to us that this is the first date and we want to create 6 periods, right? So it has created 6 dates, right? After that, let's say we are having the data frame where np.random 6 comma 4, that is 6 rows 4 columns. Index is equal to dates. We are creating index as dates and columns as the list of A, B, C, D. Right? Now what happens? The index is our date range, what we have created, that is the dates object, right? Dates object. So we can see it is 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, 5th January, 6th January, right? And the data which we have created using the random numbers that is being placed here, and the column names are set as A, B, C, D, right? Now, dir is a powerful inbuilt function which returns list of attributes and methods of any object for functions, modules, strings, lists, dictionaries, right? Let's see that. That is dir of pd.data_frame. We can say we are having, say, array, bool, class, div, copy, many things. We can say all are starting with underscore, 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 right? Special methods we can say, isn't it? These are the things which are available with pd.data_frame. What we can say is it gives us the list of attributes and the methods on that object, right? So if I do not know what methods are available for a particular thing, I can use it this way. Fine. Then dir of pd.data_frame.group_by. I want to get the information about group by, so I can use it this way. So I'll be able to have the attributes and method which are available for this group by. Okay, so it shows me all these things. Now let's see that group by, what it is and how to use it. Group by is split, apply, combine. Split, apply, combine. That is what is group by. Let's see that. Group by. We are referring to a process involving one or more of the following steps. Which are the following steps? They are splitting the data into groups based on some criteria, applying a function to each group independently, combining the results into a data structure, right? Out of this, the splitting step is the most straightforward. In fact, in many situations, we may wish to split the data set into groups and do something with those groups. In apply step, we might wish to do one of the thing, that is, we can say aggregation, transformation, or filtration. So what are they? Aggregation is compute a summary, that is, we can say statistic summary for each group. Let's say that we want to have the sum or we want to have the mean, right? We can say that we want to compute the group sizes or we can say counts. For transformation, what do we say is some groups perform some group specific computations and return like index object. For some example, we can say standardized data, that is using Z-score within a group, filling NA within groups with value derived from each group, right? The third thing is we can say is filtration. Discard some groups according to a group-wise computation that evaluates true or false. For that, the examples are discard data that belongs to groups with only a few members. Filter out data based on the group sum or mean. And we can say we can have some combinations of all these things, that is we can say aggregation, transformation, filtration, some combination of it. Group by will examine the results of the apply step and try to return a sensibly combined result if it doesn't fit into either of the above two categories. Okay. Since this set of object instance methods and pandas data structures are generally rich and expressive, we often simply want to invoke, say, data frame function on each group. The name group by should be quite familiar to those who have used SQL-based tool in which you can write code like select column 1, column 2, mean of this column, sum of column from some table, group by column 1, comma, column 2. This is the way. See, this is not SQL we are going to write, but we can get the effect like that of the SQL query, right? Where we are using the group by column 1, column 2. So let's see the object. Let's see the example we can understand. Splitting an object into groups, right? This is what we want to do. Let's say that data frame we are creating. For that, we can say that it is data where name, age, address, and qualification. These four columns are there and data related to that. We are creating the data frame with this data. That is, we can say that pd.data frame and we are passing this particular data. Then we print it so we can have the idea. Then, first of all, we are grouping with the help of one column, that is name. Print grouped dot groups. Grouped is the return value. And then after we can say dot groups, what we are getting with that. We can say, first of all, we are having the data frame printed. And I want to show the group, right? Let me write it here so you can be understood the clearly. That is, yes, okay, this one, fine. Okay, group, where it is. Group is starting from this. Okay, now, what is a group? A B. It is having int64, index 7, then D type is equal to int64, Anuj. Do we have any repeated value? Jai. Anuj. Jai. Jai is available twice. Princey. Gaurav. Anuj. Anuj is also available twice. Princey. Okay, that is also available twice. Abhi. It is available only once. Right. So we can say in this data, we are having Anuj is having twice, Jai is having twice, and Princey is having twice. Right. Okay. Now, what about this one? Group. Abhi is 7 index. Anuj is having index that is 1 and 5 because it was available twice. Gaurav, that is available only once. Jai is available two times, that is, we can say at 0 index and at 2 index. Princey is also available twice, that is at 3 and 6 indexes. Got the point? The way it groups the things. Fine? Now group by dot first. Numeric only is equal to false. Minimum count is equal to -1. It computes first group values. So what do we mean by that? Parameters, that is numeric only, it is Boolean. Default is false. Include only float, integer, Boolean, columns. If none, will attempt to use everything, then use only numeric data. Minimum count, that is integer, default is -1. The required number of valid values to perform the operation, if fewer than the minimum count, non-NA values are present, the result will be NA, right? It returns series or data frame computed first of values within each group. Let's see this. This was grouped, right? Which we have already grouped using group by and on name, right? On name we have grouped. So we were able to have, say, Anuj, where we are having 2 values. For Princey, we are having 2 values. For Jay, we were having 2 values, right? So now for that group DF, we want to see what? Group dot first. First of all, what was the group DF? That is, we can say original, that we print. Then after, what we are doing is we can have the first method being called, right? Let me see that. We can print this grouped also here. If we want, we can see the difference. The original group DF, then after the grouping, what was there, we have just seen. And then after, we can say that group dot first. Okay, so let's say, let me print this also, that is grouped. Okay, we can have the idea, but let us write some text so it will be clear to us. This is original DF. Let us put the backslash, that will be better for us. Then after, we can say what was grouped on name. Then after, we can say it is group on first, right? Group on first. That is, we are calling the group method. Now let's see. So this is the original data, right? Original DF, where we are having Jai twice, Anuj twice, Princey twice, right? This is the original data frame. What was grouped? There we can say it was the data frame grouped. Yeah, it is here on name, right? So that is the data frame. And how we did that? We have directly printed the result there, right? So it was giving us these groups. Here it is only giving us the object. Now what? We want to print group one first. For that, what it gives? A B. Once it was that Anuj. 2 was there, but Anuj. Anuj 24 is there first. Then after Anuj 36 is there, right? So whatever is the first value that it prints, you can say for Anuj it is 24. For Gaurav, it is only having one entry, so no issue. For Jai, first is 27, second is 22. So it prints only the first value, that is the 27. Then after for Princey it is having 32 first, and then after we can say 27 is there. But it prints first value of it. Got the point? So meaning of this first method must be clear to you. Now grouping the data with multiple keys. So instead of now name, we are giving 2 columns, that is name and qualification. So let us print our group DF original data. Then what we are doing is we are grouped by name and qualification, and then after that dot groups, right? Here what we have done was directly printed this group. Instead of that, we could have written the groups, right? So we could have got the groups of it, isn't it? So yes, right? What data we got there, that's what we can get here also, right? Here also now we want to get the groups, right? So instead of this we can have the uh, that groups, isn't it? That was there only on the one data, that was one column, one, not one data, we can say group by name was there. Now we are having group by name and qualification. On two columns we are grouping. Let's see the output. This is our original data frame. Now how it is doing the grouping. We can say we are able to see the value as a BMA, then Anush BCom, then Gaurav BTech, Jai MCA, Jai MSc, Princey MSc, Princey PhD, right? All are becoming unique. Why unique? Because instead of one column, now we are having two columns on that we are grouping. So let's change the data. We can have the idea here. Let me have this. Let us have the both values same for any particular person. We can have the idea here. Okay. So what should we do for J and qualification, right? Here it is MSc. For second and third is also J. For that, let me give the same value, MSc, right? Different we have seen, if it is different, then it creates the group and it is showing that it is this, right? Now, if we do the same value, what it does? Let's see that. Where has it gone? Yeah, here it is, okay? Let's see this. We want to group by two columns, their name and qualification, right? But you know that we have changed the qualification of J, right? For both the J, we have put the same qualification, and that is, we can say MSc, isn't it? Now I would like to see this. We have already run. Yes. Now we would like to run this. Now what happens? What it gives us? It gives us what? J MCA. J is having MCA, and J is having MSc. So this is not there in effect. Just a second. J MSc. J is having MSc. So why isn't it having the fact? Oh, data one is there, isn't it? Where is the group DF? We have considered group DF, isn't it? Group DF is group by name. It is group by name. Okay. What we have to do is here we have to provide the DF1, right? This is our, sorry, data one, right? Data one. And what we have to do is data one dot group by, isn't it? Dot group by. So now what we are having is, first of all, our data is there. Let us print this properly. What happened? Dict object has no attribute. Oh, data frame we should have, no? This is only data. And that data frame was group DF. Yeah. This one. So it is group DF only. Just a second. group DF, where it is. Yeah, here. This is the data. Yeah, we have changed that, and we can say group DF, or you can say any group DF, say N, that is equal to PD dot data frame, and we have to give now this data one, or we can change the name also. That is, we can say data for two columns, right? So let me give it as 21. Now, just a sec. Yeah, here for PD dot data frame, we should provide this data, that is 21, right? Okay. Now, okay, so let me run this. Now this one, what happened? The object has, we have to change this one, isn't it? This is our group DF and, right? For that, for data frame, we can do group by, isn't it? Not for the dictionary. Okay, so that's what we have changed. Now, what we are able to see is for two column, we are having the group by. So now, a BMA, okay. Anuj BCom, okay. Anuj MA, okay. Then Gaurav BTech, that is also okay. Jai MSc. Now we are having the same value for both the Jai of name and qualification, isn't it? So here it shows 0 and 2, right? When we were having only one column, and there where we were having two Jai, there it was showing like this is 0 and 2. But then after, when we were having different qualification, at that time, it was showing here, that was, we can say, Jai MSc, and yeah, this one Jai MCA, right? That was different. Now what I did is I have changed this MCA to MSc for both the Jai. Then what we are getting is we are getting it as Jai MSc, and now index they are 0 comma 2, right? Instead of 1, now it is 0 comma 2. The way it was there for one column, now when we are doing it for two columns, it will give the same thing, right? So now grouping data by sorting the keys. Let's see that group keys are sorted by default during the group by operation. User can pass sort is equal to false for potential speedups. If we do not want to have the sorting, we can do the sort is equal to false to speed up the operation, isn't it? You can say, ma'am, what's the difference for the small data frame? But let us consider the data set that is of bigger size, isn't it? So there we should consider the speed. Okay, so we can ignore that. Let's create the data frame that is for data one, our dictionary. Name and age, two columns are there. We are creating the data frame with this data dictionary, that is data one, and we want to print this group DF1. So we are having name and age. Joy is available twice. Princey, that is also available twice. Anuj is also available twice. Fine. Okay. Let's see. Now we are doing group DF1 dot group by name and dot sum. We want to have the sum of it. What is that? Abhi is 32. For Anuj is 60. Anuj is of 60 age. No, 24 is there and 36 is there. But as we have done group by and then after sum. So wherever group is there, That is, you can say Anuj name is found twice or thrice or more than that. It will do the summation of all ages, right? So we'll be able to see it as 60, right? For Jai, Jai 27, other Jai is of 22. So it will do the addition. For Princey also, first is 32, second is 27. So it will do the addition. Fine. So we are able to see the summation as the answer of the age of that particular person, right? Actually, we cannot say for that particular person, but we should say for a particular group, isn't it? Now, we apply group by using sort in order to attain potential speedups. So for that, what we do is group by name and dot, sorry, not dot, comma, sort is equal to false dot sum, right? So the output is same. The output is same, but the thing is, it will speed up the operation. Here, see, as we are having only small data, will not be able to see the difference in speed. But if we are having, say, bigger data, these days we are talking of data science with the big data, isn't it? There, we can say that petabytes of data is there. So there we can see the speed difference. Okay. Now grouping data with object attributes. Group attributes like dictionary whose keys are the computed unique groups and corresponding values being the access labels belonging to each group. Let's see. Data one is our dictionary. Name, age, address, qualification is that. And what we are doing is we are creating the data frame from that and we are printing it. Okay, so this is our data frame. Now, what we are doing is group by name and we are printing the groups. Okay, so what groups we are having for Anuj 1 and 5, for Jay 0 and 2, for Princey it is 3 and 6. So they are available twice, right? Okay, now we iterate an element of group in a similar way we do in itertools.object. For studying the basic Python and advanced Python, there we have used the iter tools, right? So that way we have to do it here. Let's say that grp is equal to group df do by, dot group by name, right? First of all, we are doing the group by. Then after, for name comma group in grp, that is whatever is our group by object. Then after we can say that we are printing name and group, right? We are giving the print one more line so we can see the difference. Okay. We can say 7 a B, right? 1, 5, that is for Anuj. See here the group name is given. This is the group name, right? And what is there in the group? That's what we are able to see here. This is Abhi. This is for Anuj. Two Anuj are there. For Gaurav, only one Gaurav is there. For Jai, two Jais are there. And for Princey, we are having two Princey. Okay. So that is the iterating groups. Okay. We are iterating the groups. That is the way we are having the iter tools. In advanced topics, we have seen that, right? Advanced topics of Python, in that we have studied that. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to do the select group, but let's see the group df. We are again creating name, age, address, qualification, right? Here now we are having the value that is MSc and MCA for Gen. Okay. Original group we want to create. Fine. Original data frame we are creating. Say again and again I am putting this code so we do not have to rely on what we have already created. If we have changed that, then we'll be able to see the effect here also. Only thing is we should have the data frame available, and whatever are the values, based on that, try to have the effect. Okay. Now selecting group. What we are doing that, in order to select a group, what we have to do is we have to do group by dot get underscore group. Let's see that. Say group df2 dot group by name. So we'll be having the group available, right? From that, I want to get a particular group only. So that is for Anuj, that is for Jay, right? So let us do group by. That is for Abhi, right? That is for Abhi. This is for Anuj. This is for Jay, right? Now select the object, grouped on multiple columns. So we can say this is group by name and qualification. Then after we can get the group that is for J and MSc, right? Now aggregating data at any level. What is that? Aggregation is the process of combining or grouping data together into a set, bag, or list. The data may or may not be alike. In most cases, an aggregation function combines several rows together statistically using algorithms such as average, count, maximum, median, minimum, or sum. So for that, what we have to do, let's say we are having our group DF2, we have just used that. On that, we are doing group by, that is a name. And now we want to have the aggregate and np dot sum. So group by name, right? Now what we are getting is for Abhi 32, for Anuj 60, for Gaurav 33, for Jay 49, and for Princey 59, right? Before that also we have used the same thing, but there we have used some function directly available. Here what we are doing is we are using the aggregate function and then we are passing it as np dot sum, right? Both the way we are getting the same output. Now if we are having say group by two columns, what we can do that, after that we'll be doing the aggregate and np dot sum, right? So that it will be giving us fine. For BCom, what is there? For MA, what is there? Because it is having two columns, right? If we are having say both MCA, say for J, if we are setting MSc for both the J, then we'll be able to see the total, right? Let's say that apply the aggregate function. That is, we can say that uh, we want to have many more functions like sum, mean, standard deviation. So what we do is for a particular column, what we are doing is aggregate. That is we can say we are providing a list. Okay, we can say np dot sum, np dot mean, and np dot standard deviation. Fine. So what we are getting for Abhi, what is sum? 32 only. What is mean? That is also 32. What is standard deviation? No other value is there, so it is NaN, right? For Anuj, two values are there, so we can say sum also is there, mean also is there, and standard deviation 2 is that. For only one value is there, then we can say standard deviation is NaN. For others, it is having the standard deviation as well as the mean value also, right? Now, what should we do? Let's see that transformation is a process in which we perform some group specific computations and return a like index. Transform method returns an object that is indexed and same as the one being grouped. The transform function must return a result that is either the same size as the group chunk, operate column by column on the group chunk, not perform in place operations on the group chunk. Okay, let's see what it is. Say group is equal to group df2 by group by name. We are grouping by the name. After that, what we are doing is, let's say we are having the lambda function, that is we can say x, where x minus x dot mean upon standard deviation of x multiplied by 10, right? This is what is there with us. Now we want to transform the data, right? So what happens? Where is original data frame? Let me print that. We can have the idea, right? Print our group df2, right? Then we can compare now. Here we are having group by name, right? Here we are having group by name, and what values we are getting is for index 0 to 7, right? What we are getting is for SC, that is what we are getting is we've applied this transformation. We have applied this transformation. Now, can you apply the transformation on the name? For this mean and standard deviation? It's not possible. Why? Because mean can be found for numeric data. Standard deviation can also be found on the numeric data, right? So here we are able to see the column that is only age, because that is only the numeric column available in our data, and we are not able to see other columns, right? This transformation we can only do on the numeric data, right? So that's what we are able to see as the output, right? Now what we do is, let us create one more data frame. Let us say we are having group by, say map and values. Then after, what we do is, we are transforming sum. We are transforming to mean. We are transforming to variance. And there we are storing it as SMV. That is for sum, mean and variance, right? So what we are getting for that? We are having the group by map, that is what we can say is 0, 1 and 2, right? We are having 0, 1 and 2. This map value is there, isn't it? Map and values, these two are the columns available to us. So for that we are giving what we do is group by map, and then after the, what we do is values, right? Then after, for values, see what we mean to say is we want to group by map. Then after, transform the values, that is for the what we can say is for values column. Transform that. Okay. So for that we can say sum is 6. Then we can say mean is 2 and value is sorry, variance is say 1, right? Variance is 1. So for all those things, we are having SMV, right? SMV. Now, define the levels. Now, what is that? Let's see. Import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP. We are having the data frame. How we are creating this? Arrays is equal to, say, this is one row and this is the second row. Two rows are being given to us. Now, index is equal to pd dot multi index dot from arrays. We are providing this array. Names is equal to animal and type. We are having a index. We actually are creating the index that is from, it is having the multi-index, right? It is not having the single index, but it is having a multi-index. and where we can say it is created from this particular array, and where the names of those columns are animal and type. We can say this is falcon, it is of type captive, falcon, it is of type wild, parrot is of type captive, parrot is of type wild, right? So this is what is given to us, and that we want to use as the index. And as it is having more than value, one value, we can say we want to have two columns, right, for the index. So we are using it as pd dot multi-index from arrays. Now what we do is, for creating the data frame, we are giving pd dot data frame max speed. Only one column is there. That is, we can say max speed, and we are providing the value for it. And index is equal to index. The index which we want to create is having these two columns, that is animal and type. Now we are printing that data frame. So what's the case? Here we are having these two columns as our index, right? So falcon captive, here nothing is written. It is falcon only, while parrot captive, parrot wild, right? This is the index. This is the multi-index. And whatever is the maximum speed that we are able to see here, right? Now, level df. This is the label we have created. With that, we can say we are having group by and mean. For level 0, we are doing the group by and we are having mean, right? Falcon and parrot, right? This is level 1. For that, level 0. Okay, index starts with 0, isn't it? So, for animal, we are having group by, and then after we are having the mean of it, right? This is, we can say, for falcon, it is 390 plus 350 divided by 2, so that is 370, right? Same way for parrot, we can say it is 20 plus 30. So it is 50 divided by 2, that is 25, right? Now, if we are giving it as level 1, so it is captive and wild. For captive, what does mean? For captive, we can say it is 390 plus 30. 390 plus 30, what is that? And divide by 2, right? So it is 210. And same for the wild. We can say label df dot group by, that is label is equal to type. We already given say 0 and 1. Now we are giving it as the type, that is the column name for index, whatever we specified, right? So that also we can specify here. So whatever is that for captive and wild, that only we are getting here. For this animal, we can see whatever we got for the group by falcon and parrot, right? So for animal, whatever is that we are able to see here. Name as well as you can say index of our label, not index, we can say index value only, right? That is, we can say label is 0 or label is 1, right? Now, what we do? L is equal to say 1 list is that, we print that. Now what we do? For creating the data frame, whatever is this list that we are providing, and we are giving the columns as ABC, right? We are giving ABC. So we can say we are having the value, the way the value was given, that way it will take the value for the columns ABC, right? Now we are doing group by B, and sum. Group by B, right? So for that, we were having 1 and 2, right? For 1, it is having only one value, that is 3. That is 2 and 3, we can say, for A and C. Then after for B, it is, what you can say, for B 2.0, it is having two times, it is having 2.0. So it will consider 1 and 3 for AC and 1 and 2 for AC, right? 1 and 3 and 1 and 2, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 plus 3 is 5. That's what we are able to see here for level DF, level 1 DF dot group by that is by B column, right? Now let us give it for C column. So what we get is for that sum, we can say C is group by. So we are having three values for that. That is 2, 3 and 4, right? 3 is available 2 times. Fine. So for that 3, we can say other values are 2 and 1. For 3, we can say the other values are 1 and 2, right? This is 1, 2. This is 2, 1. So we can say 3 and 3.0. We should be able to get for value 3 of our C, isn't it? Next, what we want to learn is filtration.